According to White House officials, President Trump plans to sign executive orders proclaiming that the U.S. government will recognize only two sexes, male and female, and ending what he calls radical and wasteful diversity, equity, and inclusions programs inside federal agencies. The orders are part of his so-called Restoring Sanity agenda. I spoke in depth today with the CEO and founder of the Transgender Health and Wellness Center, Tommy Clinton, who says the transgender community is now very concerned. All right, Tommy, first off, your reaction to President Trump's comments today and also some of the executive orders that he's planning.
Well, I wasn't surprised at all. And I just know the next 4 years is just going to be a challenge, and none of us are going to be able to come out the same. And it's sad that they've targeted that community, but that's how they motivate themselves. They motivate themselves with hate. And unfortunately, we are the target.
How concerned is the transgender community right now?
They're very anxious. They're anxious and they're worried. We had one commit suicide last night. So it's a serious issue. And
I'm so sorry to hear that somebody took their own lives. Do you think it was in connection to some of what's going on?
They're still sorting it out, but it is kind of the same time all this was happening. So we suspect that that's the reason, knowing some of the information that we know, and we know that the last term that he served, our murder rate went up, tripled, and I expect people to take their lives. Because they're just trying to live their lives and be a productive citizen in their nation, and they're trying to strip them of everything that's possible to live their lives.
I'm curious, are you surprised that the transgender community has become such a hot button political issue?
No, it's always been that way with the far right. They always motivate every campaign. There's always someone that they target, someone they hate. It's just what they do, and that's how they motivate it and motivate that community. They find a squeaky wheel, and then they get enough people to listen to it and persuade them. That's just part of it. They're spreading false information about trans youth, and people are not fact checking the information. They're just taking it, and it's just one of those things, and we're just going to have to survive it. And the one thing that they're probably not used to, but the trans community is surviving. The Stonewall riots began with a Black trans woman named Marsha P. Johnson. And since then, we've had to survive and struggle. And that's one thing we can do, is we're resilient.
What will the trans community do for the next 4 years? And is there anything that you plan to do taking action?
Well, I'm in California, so I'm blessed. I'm more worried about the ones that are in the southern states, what's going to happen to them. I think the southern states is where most of the problems are going to be. And so it tends to be the far right tends to only like their own cookie cutter. They like a very specific type of person that represents their party and their people. And so they tend to push out others that don't fit that mold or model. And so we expect more of them to probably move to California